So the combat system for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is actually quite fun and simple. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the combat system with you and then giving you guys my overall thoughts about it. What's up everybody, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here, and welcome back to another video on the closed beta for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, where we're going to be going over the combat system of the game. But before we talk about that, you guys know the drill. If you enjoy what you see on this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, give a like on this video, and comment down below what you guys think about the combat system so far. So for those of you that are already playing the closed beta, I know there's a lot of you guys that are like super far ahead, way farther than me. This video is probably not for you, but for those of you who unfortunately did not get access to the closed beta but want to see what the combat is all about to prepare yourselves for the official release, then this video is definitely for you. And remember, because this is closed beta footage, any of this could potentially change. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and talk about the combat system for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. So the combat system for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, in a nutshell, it reminds me of the combat system for Pokemon Masters EX. So you have an ATB gauge there, so you see some skills right there on Cloud, Brava, Ruinra Smash, Thunder, Fire Cure. Each of them have a specific amount of cost, and the ATB gauge slowly fills during combat. As this is happening, your characters will be doing their auto attacks. And let's say with Cloud, I want to use his Thunder skill. That costs 3 bars. So if I press that, he will use it. He will drain up 3 bars of his ATB gauge. And then in order for you to use up another skill, you have to either wait for your ATB gauge to fill up, or if you already have the necessary amount, let's say you waited until all 7 bars were filled up, then you could do so as you need to. Now, as far as your other characters that you're not controlling, which are going to be Tifa or Barrett, or however your party structure is, you structure it, you can actually switch between them on which one you want to control. But if you're not controlling them, they will be using up their own ATB gauge, as the battle flows. So they will be controlled by the AI. But just to let you know, you guys can switch during combat which character you want to play as. We see the enemy right there, which in this screenshot is Sentry level 1. It will display the type of level and enemy that it is. And then afterwards, on the upper right hand corner, you see there that it's on auto. So on auto, the combat will flow via the AI. They will be using up skills. The only thing that they will not do is use limit breaks, and we'll get into the limit breaks when we actually get to that portion of combat. But just to keep in mind, that is what auto does. You can also put the game at double combat speed. I personally only like doing that if I'm farming for particular materials and things like that, but I actually love the animations of the game, and I like to keep it at the normal speed because looking at the animations is actually quite a lot of fun. Okay, so there is a few modes that you want to take into consideration when it comes to a boss fight. So bosses have something called overkill mode, where they're going to get a circular icon with a timer. As this timer is going on, if you see right here, close to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you see there it says defense. So there's 2 different stances that your party can take advantage of. There's defense and offense. And what you do is, if a boss is about to use a very powerful skill, such as the Assault Scorpion using overkill mode, switch to defense, and what it does is it's going to give your party a physical and magic damage boost, and they're also going to be receiving more heal. So this is a great way to prepare for a really powerful attack. And then once you survive the attack, assuming that you do in defensive stance, you could switch right back into offense, where your party is able to deal more offensive damage. So pretty engaging. I like it. It's very simple, and it gives you a way to protect your party when a boss enemy is about to hit you with a very powerful attack. Now, bosses have access to another really powerful attack, and you see that right there in the bar up above. So that bar is very similar to the circle, except it's with a gauge at the top. Now, in order to interrupt this, you're going to see a number that appears on the boss, and you're going to see a certain icon. That icon is called a sigil. In order for you to prevent bosses from using an even more powerful attack, you want to be sure to hit them with a skill that has that sigil. So once you do that, it depletes that number, and if you deplete complete that number before their gauge is able to go all the way across to the end, they will enter this break status where they're unable to do anything, and you're literally able to go ham on them and deal as much damage as possible. For those of you that have played a game such as the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, it's kind of like when you break them and steal all their brave and they have no brave available, they take more damage and you're able to take advantage of dealing more damage with your skills, your different attacks, things like that. So pretty easy to understand. And then during combat, your limit break for your characters will start to build. Generally, when you take damage or when you use skills is usually how it's built up. In auto mode, the AI will not be using the limit breaks automatically, so you still have to click on that manually. But something cool about limit breaks is if you allow all 3 of your party members to build up their limit breaks, you can actually press all 3 of them at the same time, and they're gonna combo their limit breaks. So for example, if I have Tifa going first, she'll use her somersault, then Barrett comes in with his grenade bomb, and then in this case, I have Cloud with his cross slash, and they're gonna be executing their limit breaks just the way that, in that order of how you selected them. But that's really cool, and it definitely allows you to rack up a lot of damage. So now that we've gone ahead and gone over combat, I'm gonna go ahead and do some live combat for you guys, so you guys get to see the flow of battle in some actual gameplay. We're gonna go into solo content, and I'm gonna pick a fairly decently challenging stage. This one right here has a recommended power of 15,000. I'm a little bit above it at 2,000 with 2,348 above the 15,000. So it's going to provide a decent challenge, but at least you guys get to see the flow of combat with a little bit of a challenge here. So we're going to go ahead and start up here. Something to note is the solo quests do cost stamina. So there is stamina in this game, unfortunately, but the story quests do not cost any stamina. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play on manual. And something that I want you guys to note, if I click on the top 3 lines there on the upper right-hand corner, you can see all of the different skills or abilities that your characters have and what icons they have and what elements they have access to. If you go on enemy info, it will show you what elements they are weak to. So that is very important if you want to find out what they're weak to. Another way you can find out what they're weak to is if we click off of this, if you see skills blinking, that means enemies are going to be weak to that element. You could also change your target. So if I want to target the Guard Hound, I can target the Guard Hound first. And then if I want to switch to Tifa, I'll switch over to Tifa. So you can switch which character you're controlling, kind of like how we went over earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and target Sentry A with Tifa. Let's go ahead and Okay, looks like that combat went pretty quickly. All right, so now we're going to go into the actual boss fight. I'm going to go ahead and click on the 3 lines again because there's something that I do want to cover. So in terms of like recommended sigils, that is what the recommended sigil is. So when they have that bar that appears on the upper top of the screen where they're about to unleash something really powerful, you see that numbered icon and it shows you the sigil that they're weak to. Make sure you use a skill that has that sigil, so then that way you're depleting that number and you could put them essentially into a break status and deal as much damage as possible. But let's go ahead and get into combat here. So all of these enemies are weak to fire, so I'm just going to be spamming a lot of fire skills here. And you see that I'm rotating which character that I'm controlling, so that way I can chain their fire attacks here. So Barrett has Firaga A, which is really cool because he hits all of them. All right, so they're about to do area Blizzaga, so I'm going to switch over to my defensive stance here. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Tifa and use fire. I'm going to switch over to Cloud. Okay, here we go. So they're about to unleash area Blizzaga. We take less damage because we were in defensive posture. So now we're going to go right back into offensive, into attack mode. So we're going to use fire. We're going to use fire again. All right, so now they have their sigils up, or they're about to unleash their super move, which we don't want that to happen. So we're going to make sure that that does not happen. Let's go ahead and go with Ruinous Strike. Let's go ahead and go with fire. Okay, so we may not be able to break them out of this. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go right back into defensive stance. Let's go ahead and go into Firaga. Right, hopefully we can see a limit break. All right, we have a limit break set up with Cloud. All right, So Cloud is okay, now we have a limit break set up with we have all 3 limit breaks. So let's go ahead and chain all 3 limit breaks here. You guys get to see this. And the more limit breaks you chain, the more the multiplier of the damage increases. So you see right here, we're leaving a hurtin' on one of the soldier 3rd class bosses here. And the animations are sick, which is why I said I like to play this on normal speed versus double speed, because you guys actually get to see the attacks in full. All right, so this guy's about to unleash his big attack here, so we definitely need to make sure that we stay in defensive posture. All right, here we go. He's about to unleash it. Blazara. Okay, so Barrett tanked that like a champ. So now we go back into offensive stance. We're gonna go dive kick with Tifa. Oh wait, never mind. We just took that boss out. So as you guys can see, I like the combat. It's pretty engaging. It's very intuitive. It's also very simple. And to me, it's not that hard to understand. And when it comes to combat for these, newly released JRPG mobile games or these upcoming titles, I like there to be a little bit of depth, but not too much to where it's overly complicated. But at the same time, some simplicity. So then that way, let's say I'm a new player and I've never heard of a Final Fantasy game before, but I wanted to get into this game, I can understand it. And that's what I'm getting so far with the combat for this game. Now, I know that there's summons and all that good stuff, and once I unlock that, I may make a separate video for as long as the closed beta lasts on that. But for now, that is pretty much the combat system, guys. I absolutely love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't think it's overly complicated at all, and I think if you guys have a chance to try out the closed beta, definitely give it a shot. And for those of you that unfortunately did not get into the closed beta, let me know in the comment section below what you think of the combat system so far. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are there things that you want to see improve about it? Let me know. I'd love to hear your guys' honest thoughts about it. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video and stay blessed, everybody.